There's no footage for this movie. There's some sort of weird copyright protection for this movie on Tubi that I couldn't get behind or get around. So all the footage is black with just sound. So I can't show anything. So I'm going to intentionally try to make this review kind of short. So sorry. Welcome back. We're talking about Pumpkinhead today. Pumpkinhead is directed by Stan Winston, which is a little odd because Stan Winston is normally a special effects guy. He's only directed like 3 movies. He does special effects. He did special effects for Terminator 2, Terminator 3, Galaxy Quest, Batman Returns, Constantine, and The Bat People. This movie stars Lance Henriksen, who I feel like doesn't need too much introduction, but he was Bishop in Aliens and Alien 3. He was in The Terminator, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and Jennifer's Body. Okay, so our basic plot is Lance Henriksen is a farmer person, or at least lives out in the middle of fucking nowhere with his like 5-year-old son. Maybe he's 6 or 7. He lives out in like the boonies with his like 8-year-old son. His wife died. We don't learn that his wife died until later, but it's not super important. It's just him and the boy. And they think like farmers or something, and they also own like a general store in the middle of nowhere. One day is a pretty normal day. We get some very good and well done, like just father and son bonding stuff as a parent of two little fellas. That stuff kind of gets to me now because I'm a weak baby man. But it was cute. One day while at the store, some teenagers, always these fucking teenagers, they show up and want to just go riding dirt bikes in the nowhere. So they stop at this general store, pick up some stuff. They're also, I think, on their way to a cabin to go do this in the woods, but they don't want to wait. So while they stop at this cabin, 2 guys are riding dirt bikes around the hilly slopes of this. It's not a desert. It's kind of just like an area of like dead plants. During that, Lance Henderson has to leave to run home to grab something for one of his regulars. It seems like he kind of supplies like a local farm with a bunch of stuff, and that's probably the main reason he's in business. That's what it seems like anyway. So he has to run home to grab like a new shipment of, I think, seed or like a chicken feed that came in. So he leaves the boy at the store, and they have a dog named Gypsy. The little fella and Gypsy are in the store, and Gypsy runs out of the store, and little child goes running after her, or him, I guess. And while that's happening, they're still dirt biking, and one of them hits the child. The child does not make it. He dies maybe 5 or so minutes in the movie after, in Lance Hendrickson's arms, which is where I would too also like to die. But what Lance ends up saying, he comes back, there's only one teenager left with the kid. So he thinks that they hit him and ran, and one just stayed behind because he felt guilty. What really was going on is the guy that hit him ran off because he's a fucking weak baby bitch. Everyone else stayed behind. There was 4 other ones, and then they had the decision to go to the cabin because there's a phone, and they can call, because there's not a phone in the general store. There's a phone at the cabin, they can call and get an ambulance here. And that was their plan. When they get to the cabin, Dickbag who hit the kid already unplugged the phone and ripped the cables, so they can't call. So now Lance Hendrickson, full of guilt and grief, goes to a voodoo witch woman to summon Pumpkinhead to take revenge on the teenagers that killed his kid. And then it is very much just your pretty bog standard basic slasher movie with a creature. 2 big things I want to point out as major positives for this movie, because without these 2 major positives, this would be a pretty bog standard, kind of middle of the road slasher horror creature movie. Number 1, Lance Hendrickson is putting his all into this role. More so than I ever thought he was going to, for a movie called Pumpkinhead. He is given his 100%, and it works really well. He's so good in this movie. And I know I just said that about Elijah Wood. It feels like I'm just praising actors for, acting. But when you watch schlock stuff like this, I don't expect to see, like if I saw Brad Pitt show up in one of these, I would just expect him to be like, yeah, they paid me $5. I wanted to buy a coffee, so I showed up to be in this movie. Like, I'd expect him to just not give a shit. So seeing, like, an actor I recognize actually give a shit and try, and successfully try, is really impressive, and shouldn't go without saying. The other thing I will say is Pumpkinhead, as a creature, is one of the coolest motherfuckers. It's basically a xenomorph for the woods, and I don't care, because it is so fucking cool looking. And I've always seen Pumpkinhead's design, but I've never seen the movie that it's from, but I've always looked at it and was just like, that looks so cool. It reminds me a little bit of the creature from The Suckling, just not. Pumpkinhead is one of the, and I'm sure I'm putting up like 15 pictures of him right now, but he is such a cool looking monster. And it's a shame that there were no other Pumpkinhead movies after this. I don't know if they're bad. I just know that they don't share any of the same cast, so I'm just assuming they're bad. And also, I think Tubi only has the first and the fourth one, so I'm not marathoning the Pumpkinhead movies. We're not Maniac Copping this. Overall, this movie is pretty bog standard, very middle of the road, with those two beacons of Lance Hendricks acting his fucking heart out for a movie called Pumpkinhead, and Pumpkinhead himself's design is amazing. One of the best creatures. One of the most underrated creatures, I feel. He is so cool looking. Because of those big pluses for me, Pumpkinhead gets a 3 out of 5. I liked this movie well enough. Didn't love it. The pluses were what really carried it for me. Those two fairly big positives were what really... Pumpkinhead's design is what really carried it for me. Seeing him... I don't have footage of it, but man, when he goes into that dilapidated church and it's just like blue beams of light blasting behind him and he's like silhouetted there and he looks so cool. Oh, he looks so cool. Anyway, tune in tomorrow for something. I ain't gonna lie, tomorrow's video is gonna be boring.